Dishes never fail. It's music to others.
Jorge,
Uh, uh,
hello.
oh, oh, hola, hola. Fran,
What are you doing?
hello.
How are
What
you?
do you say?
What are you doing?
I'm just reading the gossip here about the former king. Oh my God.
Oh, gossip. I like that one.
Yeah. Royal gossip. Royal gossip. Yeah.
Ooh, nothing like royal gossip in
Oh my
Spain.
goodness. And have you heard the news lately? What's happened?
It's so much fun. Oh my gosh.
Well, it is fun, but I mean, I feel so sorry for the wife, still wife, and also for the son, our king nowadays, because all this is affecting the monarchy. But my God, how can a person become this silly just to be nice
Well, for God's sakes,
regarding?
he's a Bourbon.
Yeah, okay, Bourbon said they have reputation. We know all that, but I mean,
It comes in the blood.
yeah, it comes in the blood. Okay. Yeah, I guess it comes in the blood, but oh my God, this is just incredible. I mean, the all this started some time ago, but what is happening lately? You heard about that
Well,
vedette, right? That famous vedette from the
you
70s and
okay, Jorge. Let's start from the very beginning.
and was the beginning. With the
Hello,
there
Jorge.
is a beginning with a Bourbon.
There's a beginning with the Bourbons.
Go ahead.
So, hello everybody. Today we're going to be
Yeah.
talking about royal gossip.
Yeah.
Probably you have heard on the news what on earth is going on with our former king, King Juan Carlos, who has all of these lovers. That's what we're going to be talking today. We're going to be talking about all of this crazy sexual life that our former king has. And as I said, we do have many, many, many other kings with other strange relationships.
Well, you have mentioned something that's I don't know about his sexual life, okay, but love affairs. Let's put it that way. Love affairs.
Love
Love
affairs.
affairs.
That sounds better. Sounds
Yeah,
better.
sounds like much better. Yeah.
But as you said, Jorge, it comes in the blood. I mean, the royal family in Spain, we are the Bourbons. Okay, the Bourbons they came into Spain in the year 1700. They come from France, and I guess this fraternité, liberté is what they practice. They're
Mm,
quite fraternal, and
yeah.
ever since from the very first Bourbon king, we're talking Philip V. I mean, Philip V, he was born in 1683, but
Yeah.
he took over Spain on, he was the first Bourbon king in the year 1700. And he lived until
Well, excuse me,
1745.
Francisco. 1,300 wasn't the War of Succession
There we
that
go.
between the Habsburgs and the Bourbons that both claimed the crown because the last Habsburg was Charles II
Yeah.
and
Charles II, who could
didn't
have
have
no
any
heirs.
kid. So
There we go.
exactly, had no kid. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that in the year 1700 is when we change our royal family. And the very first king, Philip V, he was also sex obsessed. I mean, especially with his first wife, Maria Luisa de Saboya, they had a very turbulent relationship.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, they were all the time into it and everything. The thing is that she got sick, she got tuberculosis, and he was so obsessed with her that they would do it nonstop. I mean, from the very first Bourbon that we had here, we have had all of these love affairs or a strange relationship. But if we talk about one of our kings, in this case, Queen, who had a little bit of a more open-minded, we have to talk about Isabella II.
Oh yeah, yeah. Poor old thing. Yeah, I feel
Poor
so
old thing.
sorry for her. I feel so sorry for her. Yeah, that's
Well,
right. Yeah.
we have to jump a little bit over 100 years, almost 200 years, because the Queen Isabella II is going to be the Queen of Spain in the mid 1800s. Okay,
Yeah.
she became a queen very, very young, and they made her marry her cousin Francisco.
Yeah.
We have talked about this relationship.
Yeah, well, I think we mentioned a little bit deeper. I mean, this is just gossip what we were talking about, but
Today is gossip.
yeah, we talked about a little bit deeper in one of our podcasts. Yeah, and yeah, she became queen very, very young, and I think she was 13 or something like that,
I
and
think she was 13.
she had a very, as I said, I feel very sorry for the time. Don't forget, Francisco, we're talking about mid 1800s, almost 400 years after we had the last queen in Spain. Okay,
she
so
was
it was a very, how can I say, very macho, very male predominant society in those days.
and suddenly she's the queen and she's coming from a war and
Yeah.
she's too young, so they make her marry her cousin Francisco, who is openly gay. I
Hmm.
mean, he has
Absolutely.
never hided it.
Mm.
So he's like, I don't want to get married. She's like, I don't want to get married. But I think that especially in the royal families, they don't marry for love, they marry because it's convenient,
Yeah,
and it was
that's true.
convenient.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much
Yeah.
what it was. The thing
Let
is
me, let
that
me let me say something about when she was imposed to marry her cousin. You know what she said about the person she was going to marry her?
what did she say?
She said, because you mentioned before that, yeah, he was openly gay and he has his lover and everything, official lover. Of course, at that time, the society was extremely, extremely conservative. But if you had money and power, you could do whatever you liked. I mean, commoners was another thing, another story. When she knew that she was imposed to marry her cousin Francisco, she said, "Why do I have to marry him? I mean, I am already the queen. Spain doesn't need two queens." I think it was a very witty thing to say at the time.
Well, she was a very clever, a very sharp
Yeah,
speaker. She was amazing, amazing.
yeah,
The thing is that with that beginning, she she's going to. I don't want to say lovers. She needs to have partners in life. I
yeah.
mean, her husband that really doesn't even have a relationship. They only get to see each other in official occasions, so they live apart. So she falls in love with many different men. Okay,
Yeah.
uh, many militaries, General Serrano and General Narvaez. She has all of these partners in her life, and it is not known. Everybody says that the son that she has, it's not from her husband, because the lineage of the Bourbons before this marriage, they were all not too tall and brown hair. And from this point on, from Isabella II, all the Bourbons are very slim, very tall, blonde with blue eyes, just like General Narvaez.
Hmm.
But guess what? We don't care if who is the father. The one who brings the royal lineage, the royal blood, is the Isabella II.
She's
So
the mother. Yeah, that's
who
true.
cares who is the father? We didn't care and we don't care. So as we can see, all of these partners in life and all of these things that they have had, it comes from the very beginning, from the 1700s, then 1800s. The son of the grandson of Isabella II, Alphonse XII and Alphonse XIII, are also very promiscuous people. They
No,
have many, many lovers.
no.
It's like totally insane. And it brings us to Juan Carlos, our former king, Juan Carlos,
Hmm. True.
who obviously is also very, very promiscuous.
Nah, come on. You cannot say that. There's no proof of that.
Well, I think there's more than proof right now
Yeah,
at this moment.
yeah, there are. Yeah, there are. Yeah. So as I said at the very beginning of this chat, have you heard the news with that vedette? Let's go backwards, Francisco. Let's go backwards. The news are now very hot in all these gossip magazines, and et cetera, et cetera. There is no week because they come out on a weekly basis. But I mean, there is no week or even days in the in the mainstream news that there is a new leak of some either photos or uh,
Information.
recorded conversations about him, that person that you mentioned before, with that very famous vedette that she was extremely popular in the second half of the 70s in Spain. When Franco passed away, we had an explosion of cultural explosion among many other explosions regarding everyday life. But especially in the early 80s and all through the decade, she became extremely, extremely, extremely famous. Yes, she was beautiful, a beautiful lady with beautiful legs, wonderful shaped body, etc., etc. But obviously, what do you think, Francisco? Is she leaking that, or is the son who is taking the revenge against her mother?
So I think it's a huge thing. We don't know what's going on. The thing is that all of these recordings of conversations, private conversations, that our former king and her, it was all of it recorded by her,
Oh, yeah,
and all of
obviously,
this,
yeah, obviously, yeah.
which is like, okay, girl, you're preparing it, but now all of this is
Okay, girl.
being
I
leaked.
love that. Okay, girl.
Okay, but it's obvious. She was preparing that maybe something could happen and she would get herself in trouble. I have recordings. Don't mess around with me. I think she's a very clever woman. Okay. The thing is that
Well, yeah.
now everything is not being filtered in Spain. Everything is being filtered in France. And from France, it's being published there and then it comes into here. Meaning
See, France
it,
and Holland and Belgium in gossip magazines in the three
it's
countries.
France, Belgium, is
Yeah,
whoever is buying or publicizing all of these conversations.
yeah.
And there are some of them they're hot, some of them are spicy, some of them are political. We're
Oh, yeah,
listening
absolutely. Yeah.
our king
Yeah.
giving the opinion of our former presidents or
Mm.
the doubts that he has. So yes, there are some which are the ones that gossip, which I think is funny, is all the more private conversations, but the ones that he talks about politics and he gives his opinion about former president or he's not okay with what's going on in Spain at that moment. I think that they in some years it will have some very important point to understand what happened in Spain when Franco died, how we did the transition. Because let's not forget that our former king, Juan Carlos, he was a keystone player in the transition from dictatorship to democracy.
In a way, yeah. In a way, he was a kind of a puppet because of the extremely conservative government at the time. But also, there is a time when, especially in 1981, when
Mhm.
that coup, that happened in Spain, February 23rd. By the way, we have a podcast dedicated specifically for that. Is he? That's when he got or gained some kind of not power, but at least respect for many of the Spanish citizens. And since then, it was perfectly okay during the 80s and I would say first half of the 90s. And but anyway, he got older and he did a lot of things. It's not that I am against or in favor of royalty. I know that you, Francisco, you're fascinated about that. So am I. Don't get me wrong. But I do believe that nowadays royalty, especially for this country, the way we are, to me, is like a very expensive public relationships people. Okay, because we have to maintain them. They have a salary, etc., etc. That's fine as long as they're doing their job correct. But now, almost not almost 40 years later, because we're talking about the 80s, those recordings are coming out every single day, right? 40 years later, I mean, in a perspective in time, when you see what was happening politically, and at the same time that political delicate affairs, it was shared with somebody that she was a vedette. I mean, don't get me wrong, a vedette is a wonderful job and a very, nothing against her, but
Very
it's,
respectful job.
yeah, it's exactly, but it's someone that's got nothing to do with the political spectrum of the country. And sharing things like that, I don't know what to say. My perception about former King Juan Carlos I is changing a lot now that we are discovering it. But let's focus. You didn't answer my question. Who do you think is leaking all these things? Because let me add this thing, Francisco. That lady, let's put it this way. Let's say only her first name, okay? Barbara. I know it's not Barbara Streisand. No.
Well, why don't we say her last name?
Okay, you say?
Because I think it's funny. Her last name is.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that.
You
Oh my
didn't
God.
realize that
Yeah.
one? Her last name is Rey, which is king. She
That's
is
true.
having a relationship with the king of Spain, Barbara the
Barbara
King.
Rey, R-E-Y. Yeah, and Rey means king in Spanish.
So Barbara
I
King
never thought
is
about
with
that.
the king.
Well,
Okay,
anyway,
sorry.
he eventually married the owner of a circus that was very famous at the time, and she had a couple of kids with him. And then finally they divorced because there were some, how you call it when uh, family abuse thing or something like
Yeah.
that. How you called it?
Her husband was how do you say
He
abusive?
was harassing her all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I cannot think of that word
violent.
now. What?
Her husband was violent with her. I
Oh, very, yeah, very, very
Yes,
violent. Yeah,
very
and
violent.
that was another chapter to talk about, because they were also at the time, especially in the late 1990s, in the gossip magazines all the time, Barbara Ray and Angel Cristo, that was his name. So anyway, they had two kids, a boy and a girl, and now they are almost 40. They should be almost 40 right now, don't they?
They should be the kids. Yeah, they should be about 40 years old.
Yeah. So
Well,
it's apparently it's the kid. I mean, I haven't seen the daughter on the news or in this gossiping media. I'm not looking into those gossiping media, but sometimes it's inevitable that when you're scrolling through the channels on tele that you see something and just for a couple of minutes you watch what's happening, right?
I mean,
And
I think it is, as you say, I think it's the son leaking all of this information.
yeah.
And obviously, he's making a lot of money out of all of these recordings and all of these. I mean, really, it's a mess because it's politics, it's gossip, it's a lot of things that should not be outside. And as you said at the very beginning, it is damaging the image of our royal family today, which
Mm-hmm.
you say that they're too expensive. I personally love our king and queen of Spain right now, Philip and Leticia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm very, very much with them. And especially with all talking about gossip. If we talk about royal gossip, we don't want to talk about what's going on in Norway.
Oh my
Um,
goodness, that was just I had to laugh when I heard those news. I had to laugh.
so,
You say what happened.
well, the thing is that the future queen of Norway, she had a previous son with a different husband. And the thing is that she is having, or he, the kid, now is 20 something, he has just been placed in prison. So, because there's beliefs of prostitution, there's belief of drug dealing, there's belief of all of these horrible things. This kid is in the middle of everything. So, hey, our royal family, it's a
They
piece of
make they,
cake.
they make them look like saints right
I
now.
know they're saints. Oh my gosh.
But what about
Here,
this other royal family? Is that the Belgium or the Dutch royal family that they were on holidays in Brazil,
there
and
we
they were
go. That's I think it's Belgium.
Belgium? Well, what are those countries? They were on holidays in Brazil, and now they're asking the government for more money because they cannot pay their bills.
There we go.
Excuse me,
So all of
what?
this is royal. I mean, and our royal family, the
I
Spanish royal family, is the cheapest one in Europe. So hey, I'm happy with them. I think they do a very good job. If not, we would need a prime
You
minister.
see,
And
guys, for our audience, when I told you earlier that Francisco loves the royalty, there you go. Now,
no, I do. I don't hide it. I'm super monarchical. I love the job they do, and I don't think it is that expensive.
uh,
But that's my personal opinion, and I know
yeah.
you don't agree with me at all.
No, no, it's not. No, I agree with you and I respect you. And as I said before, it's not that I like or I don't like. It's just, a personal point of view. It's okay as long as they are the way they are now. And let's see what happens in 40 years if they had the same scandals that our king's father is having now. But by the way, he's living in Abu Dhabi right now, just
Yes,
to,
our
to
former
avoid
king is living
paying
in Abu Dhabi.
taxes and also living on his wealth. Nobody knows how much money he has. And talking about money, Francisco, why don't you make a little intro and I can continue later about when with his decline was, or if you want me to say.
Well, I think when he abdicated in his son Philip VI, King Juan Carlos, he was getting older. He was being very awkward. He was doing many complicated things. And then we found out that it was 2008, I think, when the
I think it
pictures.
was a little bit earlier, 2004 maybe. But allow me to say something, Francisco. There is a person here we have very, very roughly mentioned before, which under my opinion, I think that she, now we know we're talking about a woman, played a very important role in all this kind of succession thing in Spain. By the way, succession was in 2014
Mhm.
when our actually monarch Philip VI became the monarch. We don't have a coronation ceremony here in Spain. We have just a proclamation, which is different. So I think it was Queen Sofia, the wife of Juan Carlos I, who was behind the scenes moving the string in a way that, hey, too many scandals here. You are a rat regarding having so many love affairs. Even now, I've been here in my position. I think that if we want the monarchy to keep it fresh or to recover the credibility that it had before, I think it's time to let our son get over the throne. Don't you think that, Francisco? What do you think about that
Yes. I mean, the
situation?
thing is that there were too many things at the same time. It was a moment where the Spanish royals, they were very, very low, and people were not happy. All of these pictures of our former king, Juan Carlos, on a very high-end safari in Africa with his lover, were shown to the
Oh, oh,
public.
oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. Now that you mentioned that, to Africa with his lover, another one.
Another one, a different one. Oh, yes, yes, of course. This is a different one.
Yeah.
It's not the Barbara King that we have been talking about.
Barbara Keane. I love it. Barbara Keane, Barbara Ray.
Barbara, Barbara Streisand and Barbara King. No, no, it's another one. It was a princess, if I'm not wrong, called Corina. Do you
Corina
know anything about
Larsen.
her?
Corina Larsen. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, where was she from? Do you know? German or?
Germany. Yeah. I think she's German. Yeah.
So the thing is that all of these pictures of the two of them in a very high-end safari hunting elephants,
Yeah.
which is like, come on, give me a break. You don't go.
On top of that, King Juan Carlos was the honor president of WFO, which is that organization that cares about the Wildlife Foundation. So just imagine, suddenly you see him by the side of a beautiful lady with a rifle, holding a rifle, and a dead elephant behind him. But
It was just not correct. It was
no,
like,
no, but I
it,
mean, if it was not correct, that's another issue. But why did we get to know all that? What was the issue that happened, or was it the thing that happened? Remember?
well, the thing is that who filtered those pictures?
No, he had his hip broken.
Oh, that's right. He broke his hip
That's
on the
right. So
accident
he
on
had to
the
get back
hunting.
to Spain in one of those medical planes that etc. etc. So there is an article in the Constitution here that says that the king is the head of a state but doesn't have any power regarding power per se. But every time that leaves the country, even if it is in personal basis, private basis, he has to inform the prime minister, whoever a prime minister is. That time he didn't. He just left to Botswana and he was hunting, was there with his lover, and then he just tripped and broke his hip. He has to get back. That was when everything exploded.
The thing is that everything was wrong. I
Yeah.
mean, he he was out of the country without, let's say, permission by the president, by the prime minister. He was with his lover. He is in a high-end safari. He's killing wild animals. I mean, it's like check bad, check bad, check bad. Everything was bad. Everything was wrong. It was like not anymore. And that's why he abdicated, because he was doing too many dumb things and he abdicated. So
Yeah, it's coming to my mind now. You're right. It was in 2012 when that thing happened. Yeah, but apparently that is gone far beyond that because later on, I don't want to say here things that I might not be. I don't know the word how to say, but they were on trials, and the trials were in London. So because King Juan Carlos was living in Abu Dhabi, this princess, Corina Larsen, she lives in Germany. Anyway, there were many documents filtered to the press that she had a donation from former King Juan Carlos of 65 million euros,
Yeah.
alleging that that was like a compensation for everything that she has done for him.
Which to me, it is a way to say that is how
I want to
much
be
it
a, I want
costs.
to be a German princess. If I have
No,
that
no,
salary, I want to be
no,
a German
no.
princess.
I think she was just buying her silence. It's like, you want
Yeah.
me to
Oh
be
no, of
quiet and
course.
not say
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to pay me
Sure.
65 million
Yeah,
euros.
yeah. So yeah, 2 years later, it was due to a series of events. Even King Juan Carlos appearing on public television saying, "Well, I'm sorry, I've done it wrong, and it won't happen again." That's why I believe that only 2 years after that, when he abdicated in favor of abdicated to Philip VI, our monarch nowadays. I believe that that's why I said that Queen Sophia, she played an important role in there. Now, Queen Sophia, she is living behind the scenes. She is not appearing much publicly, only when there is official
Yeah,
thing like with her son Philip VI, also of course Queen Letizia as well with the princesses that we have, the Infantas Leonor and
Sophia.
Sophia, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
right,
no,
yeah.
Sophia. Yeah, I mean, really, our former queen right now, it's very quiet. And if we're talking about gossip, we always talk about the king, but Queen Sophia also had a few lovers.
Uh,
Oh, come on.
yeah, well, I mean, there is a okay. Let's put
She's
it
a
this way.
woman.
Everybody knows. What do you mean she's a woman? King Juan Carlos was a man, so that
And he is
doesn't make
messing around with everybody else except her. So she's like, okay, I want to have a relationship.
yeah,
And
all right,
the
but
thing is that her alleged lovers are much more cultural people than, vedettes and, bimbos like the king had. I mean, it is said that, what's his name? The composer, the uh, Barenboim. Okay,
no way.
they said there was something with the queen, and it was not a month. It was like, that's why she has gone so often to London.
Seriously? Oh,
So, but again,
I've heard about things, but not that person. My goodness.
as I said, all of these marriages in the royals, they were not done with love. They were convenient marriages. And Juan Carlos and Sofia, both of them, they married for convenience. Yes, they got along, and then yes, they became a partner, a political partner, and they did a very good job for many years. But
Hmm.
personal partners, I don't think they have ever been deeply in love. It's just a relationship.
Yeah. Well, but I don't know what to say about all this because
Well, I think that's pretty much all we wanted to share today with
yeah,
everybody. A
yeah.
little bit of the royal gossip that is going on in Spain at this moment. But as we have said, it's not just in Spain. Everywhere around Europe, there is a lot of moments of what on earth is going to happen with the royals. I mean, do we need them anymore? Do we not need them? Are they appreciated? Are they not appreciated?
Mm.
Well, at the beginning of
Well,
the century,
Francisco,
many monarchies fell down.
yeah, you're right. I mean, all this was a little bit about gossiping, but let's put a sugar coating about
Yeah.
everything. Just only recently, Annie Leibovitz, the famous
Oh,
photographer, have you seen the photos
oh,
she has
oh,
made of
oh.
the
The
king and the
royal
queen?
portraits.
Oh
Oh,
my God,
God.
they're so beautiful.
Okay. So we last February, Annie Leibovitz, the famous American photographer, she came to Spain and did the royal portraits. It was two
We know
pictures,
you're mentioning last February of
2024.
2024, but we know now that it was in February. It was
Yeah.
totally secret. Nobody
It was
knew
totally
anything at
secret. We
all.
had
It was
no
just
idea. And
a
they
few
have
days
been,
ago when the
yeah,
news came out. Yeah.
yeah. And it's two portraits, one of the king, one of the king. Oh my God. they look like Hollywood stars. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
we know they're very beautiful, both of them, but oh my God, I mean, those pictures. And I I love Annie Leibovich's work because when she takes a
Yeah.
picture, there's a lot of history and a lot of research behind. And especially to me, the picture of the king, King Felipe, I love it because it has a lot of resonance with Las Meninas, Diego de Velázquez.
True.
Okay,
That's right.
it's a portrait of the king, and you see the room all the way behind him, and there's a door, like there's a door on the Meninas, and
The
there's somebody
Meninas.
like you can
Yeah.
see somebody on the back.
Yeah.
Maybe yes, maybe, and there's a mirror like in Las Meninas. So it's
True.
a beautiful, beautiful tribute to our Spanish art, which is like Annie Leibovitz. Thank you for those amazing pictures.
Yeah, I mean,
And about
she's incredible. She really knows how to get the essence of
yes,
that moment of spontaneity of a person, whoever that person is, right?
what about the picture of Leticia, our
Oh,
queen?
beautiful, beautiful. I'm not very fond of her, I have to admit. I know you are, Francisco.
I am. I am. I love her. I think
I,
she does
I,
a
I
great
do
job.
believe, well, I'm not going to say here a personal opinion about her, but just saying that I'm not very fond of her. I respect her because it was chosen by the monarch. But I have to admit, that portrait, oh my God, she looks stunning. She looks
Stunning. And
beautiful.
okay, so I have to tell you about the things that I like about the picture of the king, about the picture of the queen.
Hmm.
Nothing is just random. The thing is that she's dressed in a grayish gown, and she has a big, beautiful reddish shop or like a
It's like a
cape,
cape. Yeah,
like a
cape.
cape
Yeah,
around her. But
yeah.
the thing is that that cape is not just a random cape. It is a cape that was designed by Cristobal Balenciaga, a Spanish
True.
designer. And it was
I knew you were
designed.
gonna say that.
I had to. Hey, I love the Cristobal Balenciaga. But the
Yeah.
thing is that that cape was designed for a lady, a countess of Spain, to be worn on the wedding day of King Juan Carlos and Queen Sofia.
No way.
It's a tribute to her in-laws.
Oh my
I
God.
think it is so like mind blowing. It's beautiful,
I didn't
beautiful.
know that. I had no
And the
idea about that
jewels,
fact.
I mean, this has been like a few days ago. The jewels that she's wearing the beautiful necklace of diamonds and the
Yeah.
earrings,
Hmm.
which is the royal. Our royals, they do not have jewelry. It belongs to the state, but the only person who can use them is the royal family. But they
True.
don't belong to them. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is one of these jewels. But she's also wearing a ring that is a ring that she has. So it's a tribute to the past, to the heritage of Spain, but she's wearing a personal ring,
Hmm.
saying, "Hey, I'm a queen of Spain, but I am a person."
So,
So
guys, you know what I said before that Francisco is very fond of her because those little details.
I love that picture, and she looks beautiful. I was like, "Oh my God, she looks like a Hollywood star."
Yeah, and one of the things that Anne Levovitz or Annie Levovitz, she said it was that she was a little bit not scared. It was a challenge for her because apparently it had to be done in a way that it could be enlarged to a kind of a royal portrait, very, very big, you know? So the photos, they have to be perfectly sharp and absolutely, it's like when you see them, it's like a painting. Obviously, it's like it is a photo enlarged, but it is like a painting. It gives sensation of not just a photo portrait, but like a painting portrait. That's what
I
my
would say
feeling
you're
was
right.
when I
It's like
saw
a
it.
modern painting. It's
Yeah,
so beautiful. I mean, it's
yeah,
so
absolutely.
beautiful. It's well. Anyway,
Okay,
let's finish
Francisco.
in this high note.
Okay, guys. So, well, have a look at in Google. Just find Spanish loops. You'll find us there. It's the first result that comes up. Also, Francisco, you have a website, don't you?
I do have a website, it's
Mhm.
travelingsteps.es, where you can find all the tours I'm going to be doing for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly, I'm going to be posting the ones that will come up for 2026.
26. Okay,
How
good.
about you, Jorge? What's your website?
Well, my website is going to change very soon from travelingwithjorge.wordpress.com to travelingwithjorge.com. That is
Oh,
coming up very, very soon, and I hope that by January 2025 it will be done. Building a website from zero with a domain name, travelingwithjorge.com, is not an easy task, right? And especially for newbies like me.
like us.
But yeah. But anyway, it's still is traveling with Jorge.wordpress.com, and you will see what I'm doing. It's being under construction right now because I'm making the transition. But anyway, the information is there about the tours. And chicos, that's
See
it
you
for
next week.
today. We'll see you next week. Okay.
It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you,
Adios,
Francisco.
amigos.
Adios. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And as usual, we want to thank all our listeners for being there every week, letting us sharing our talks. Follow us in Spanish Loops in Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite platform.
And in Instagram, you can find us as the Spanish Loops Podcast. No spaces altogether. If you want to find us the quickest way, just Google Spanish Loops Podcast and you will find us. Hasta la vista, amigos.
See you next week.